Hello everyone, how are you all doing today? It's great to be here with you. And as you know, this is an English learning channel where we can talk about grammar, vocabulary, reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So, should you have any questions, should you have a topic in English you wish to have, I'm not going to say explored, explained, detailed, feel free to put your questions in the comments below and I will try to get back to you. So, for example, suppose you want to know about the past simple tense, how to put it together, how to use it. If you wish to have some examples about the past simple tense, feel free to write. Oh, could you kindly tell me about the past simple tense, how to use it, and so on and so forth. So I'm trying to tailor my videos and explanation to your questions, your needs, your queries. So, and of course, if you wish to have some classes, okay, if you wish to have some conversation classes, if you wish to have some classes on different vocabulary topics, like how do I improve my vocabulary, how do I build my vocabulary, how do I boost my vocabulary, feel free to contact me here and we can arrange that. So again, this is an English learning channel and everything here happens in English. So I had an idea and this is it. In order to help you improve, let's say, your English learning, your English listening skills, I am going to try to choose a topic once in a while, something that is happening around us. If you want the news, current affairs, and I'm going to choose a topic and debate it, talk about it, give my views, my opinions about that topic. And of course, you can kind of bring in your questions, your views, and we can kind of keep the conversation going. Okay, so if this is something that is interesting, we might get to the point where we might organize a live debate on the topic of our own choosing and take it from there. So feel free to let me see how you feel about this. As for today, I have two topics. I'd like to share with you. Looking around us this week, okay, two things in the news that I noticed. I mean, quite a lot of things happening, but I'm deciding to focus on only two things. The first thing is this kind of rapprochement between two countries in the Middle East, namely the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Iran. Looking in the news, I came across articles saying that these two countries are trying to talk to each other to bridge the gap, the differences, and come to a more peaceful relationship. Okay, so Saudi Arabia and Iran are both in the Middle East, separated by the Persian Gulf, and they are two Muslim countries. If you are not familiar with the different tendencies, I would say Saudi Arabia is a Sunni country, and Iran is predominantly a Shia country. So this is certainly the most fundamental difference between these two countries. Of course, the policies, the politics being opposed, which is why they haven't been seen eye to eye. But of late, at least this week in the news, you'd see, don't take my word for it, feel free to read around, have a look, and see for yourself. So, like I was saying, in the news this week, there is a rapprochement. So they're trying to have talks in order to bridge the gaps, bridge the differences, and that would certainly bring more peaceful and stable Middle East. Okay, I'm supposing that will have effects on whatever goes on in Syria, in Iraq, in Palestine, why not, in Lebanon. So the whole Middle East stands to gain from these two countries having peaceful, cordial relationship. So my view is something that needs to be encouraged. Having a situation in which Saudi Arabia and Iran are friends, allies, is fabulous. It is fabulous. Because if you're not familiar with, if you don't know, Saudi Arabia has its own circle of friends and allies like Egypt, Pakistan, of course, the Emirates, Kuwait, Bahrain, and so on and so forth. And Iran has its own circle of friends, namely some of the people who kind of are based, let's put it that way, based in Yemen. And you have also some of the ruling parties in Iraq, some actors in whatever goes on in Syria, Lebanon for sure. So having these two, I'm going to say, leaders of each and every one of these group going on is a great thing, as all the other minor players would kind of follow through, be more positive, be more peaceful, be more cordial relationship with each other, which goes to say the idea of a war between these two and in the whole of the Middle East is kind of fading. Let me say that again. The idea of a war, of an open, overt conflict between these two and the allies in the Middle East by progressively fade, bring about a more peaceful region. So my view is it is something to be supported and encouraged. So that's about Saudi Arabia in Iran. The second topic is a country in, I would say, Central Africa called Chad. And last week, or early this week, the president of Chad passed away. His country is battling a rebellion which seemed to have taken roots in Libya and making move down south, heading to N'Djamena, which is the capital city of Chad. And obviously the intention of the rebels is to overthrow the government, take hold of the country. And from what we've read in the news, the president of Chad, Marechal Idriss Deby, went to meet the rebels up north, somewhere in his country, for some talks. And things didn't go according to plan. And there were gunshots, and the president was wounded, with several of his generals, I wouldn't say ministers, generals, there might be ministers, but some of the generals. So the president got wounded and passed away after being evacuated, swiftly evacuated in the capital city for treatment. So he passed away. Now, Chad is a republic. I'm guessing a Muslim, an Islamic republic, which also has a minority of Christian and I would say other religion, not just a 100% Muslim country. So Chad being a republic, Chad has a constitution. No. Chad has a constitution and Chad has institutions like the parliament and some other. Let's focus on the one that we're going to talk about now. And the constitution says, in case of the president, should there be a situation in which the president is incapacitated or dead, the president of the Senate, or let's say the parliament, is the person who takes over, who assumes power and organizes free, transparent election in the next 18 months. That's what the Constitution says. But that's not what happened. That's not what actually took place in Chad. What happened there was the son of the president, he is also a 4-star general, dissolved parliament and dissolved the government, assumed power, created a military committee to run the country, in his own word, for 18 months, in which he plans to organize election, free, fair, transparent elections, and then return power to a civilian government. Yes, in the words of a lot of people around the world and in the news, this equates to a military coup. The constitutional order wasn't followed to the letter. The parliament is dissolved, the government is dissolved, and then we have a military committee assuming power with a few of the key roles, head of the state, head of the army, and so on and so forth, in the end of the 4-star general, who happens to be the son of the deceased president. So it's not only a coup, but it's also some kind of a monarchical devolution of power. And a lot of people around the world condemn it and think this is not the way things should have gone. And this morning I saw that the African Union is recommending that the constitutional order is followed, meaning the head of the Senate or the parliament assumes power, the government stays in place, the military stays in the military bases, life goes on as normal, and of course everybody is trying to see the ways in which the government or whoever is in power initiates talks with the rebels who are frightening to overthrow whoever is in power in Jamena. Rather very complicated, complex situation, dangerous situation going on in Chad. So now, on the other side of this, yesterday, which was Friday, the deceased president, ex-president, was buried, and during the funeral, French President Emmanuel Macron promised to be by the side of the military committee running the country. Now, for those who don't know what France is the former colonial power of Chad. So Chad gained independence from France, I'm guessing in the 1960s. But the influence of France is still very strong in the country because France has a military base in Chad, and the currency that is still being used in Chad was formally initiated by the colonial power, France. So the historical, the political ties between these two countries are really, 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 really strong. And so a lot of people in the press, and some of them from from France, reminded the president that whatever happened in Chad is not a constitutional process, and then President Macron promising to support the military transition is kind of validating, officializing, supporting a military regime which just performed a military coup. So I'm going to stop here in order not to make this video too long, but I hope these two situations, this situation, the last situation, is something that you would be interested in finding out more about. Of course, feel free to read around BBC News, CNN. If you have a Twitter account, it's a good place to look for news, also current affairs. Feel free to have a look. Feel free to think about what was said here, and kindly put your comments below, like this video, subscribe, and share. So thanks again for listening, and I hope to see you very soon on the next video. Thank you and goodbye.